A single backpack, abandoned deep in the woods, looked ordinary. But inside, police found something that would unravel a nightmare no one even knew existed. In the autumn of 2014, in a quiet rural region surrounded by dense forest and narrow country roads, a local hiker made a discovery that would change everything. The area was known for its silence, the kind of place where people went to escape the noise of the world. But that silence was about to be broken. The hiker noticed a worn-out backpack lying just off the trail. It looked out of place, as if it had been dropped in a hurry. Curious, he opened it. What he found inside didn't make sense at first. A mix of personal items, old photographs, and something far more disturbing. Items that suggested this bag didn't belong to just one person. Within hours, local police were called to the scene. At first, it seemed like a lost item, but it wouldn't stay that simple for long. The region had always been considered safe. Small towns, tight-knit communities, and very little serious crime. People knew each other. Doors were often left unlocked. But over the past few years, there had been whispers, unexplained disappearances, nothing dramatic enough to cause panic. A missing traveler here, a hitchhiker who never arrived there. Cases that were filed, investigated briefly, and then slowly forgotten. There was no pattern, no obvious connection. At least that's what everyone believed. Back at the police station, officers began cataloging the contents of the backpack. Inside were multiple IDs belonging to different people, a camera with a damaged memory card, clothing that didn't match a single individual, and then something even more unsettling, a small notebook. Inside the notebook were names, dates, locations. Some names were crossed out, others circled. It didn't take long for investigators to realize some of those names belonged to people reported missing over the past few years. Suddenly, this wasn't just a lost backpack, it was evidence. Police formed a task force immediately. They began cross-referencing every name in the notebook with missing persons reports. The results were chilling. At least 7 of the names matched unsolved disappearances. People from different cities, different backgrounds. No obvious connection, except now this backpack. The damaged camera became a priority. Forensic technicians worked to recover the memory card. When they finally succeeded, what they found would shift the entire investigation. The images showed remote locations, forests, roadside stops, empty fields. But in several photos, there were people, unaware, candid, as if someone had been watching them, studying them. Then one image stood out, a man, partially visible in a reflection, holding the camera. It was the first glimpse of a suspect. Using the recovered images, police traced locations where the photos had been taken. One location led them to a gas station along a quiet highway. Surveillance footage from months earlier showed a man matching the reflection. He appeared calm, ordinary, someone you wouldn't notice twice. But there was something else in the footage. He was seen speaking to one of the missing individuals listed in the notebook. This was the first real lead. Investigators worked tirelessly, tracing the man's movements across multiple towns. He didn't stay in one place for long. He blended in, moved quietly, and left almost no trace behind. The breakthrough came from something unexpected. A routine traffic stop, hundreds of miles away. An officer pulled over a vehicle for a minor violation. The driver seemed nervous, not unusual, but enough to raise suspicion. When the officer ran his identification, nothing unusual appeared. But something felt off. A search of the vehicle revealed items eerily similar to those found in the backpack. Different IDs, personal belongings, and in the trunk, a hidden compartment. Inside it, evidence that confirmed the worst. This man wasn't just connected to the disappearances. He was responsible. The suspect was taken into custody immediately. As investigators dug deeper, the scale of his crimes became clear. He had been operating for years, traveling across regions, targeting individuals who wouldn't immediately be missed. Travelers, hitchhikers, people passing through. He studied them, followed them, and then they vanished. The notebook wasn't just a list. It was a record, a methodical account of his actions. But what shocked investigators the most was how ordinary he seemed. No criminal record, no obvious warning signs. Just someone who had managed to hide in plain sight. The case quickly gained international attention. Authorities were able to link the suspect to multiple unsolved disappearances. Families who had waited years for answers finally learned the truth. But not every question was answered. Some names in the notebook were never identified. Some locations in the photographs were never found. Even with the suspect in custody, parts of the story remained incomplete. It all started with a backpack, left behind in the woods. Something easy to ignore. Something that could have gone unnoticed forever. But inside that bag was a story. A hidden trail of evidence that exposed a reality no one expected. It raises a question that lingers long after the case is closed. How many secrets pass by us every day, disguised as something ordinary? And if that backpack had never been found, would the truth have ever come to light? Silence, then black.